What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about the LCK, just my reactions to it. The first, obviously, it just came back. We saw two different games between DNS and NS, and then Bro versus, gosh, I don't even remember the other team. It was Bro versus DRX. And look, the first thing I got to say is Berserker looked dominant, as like he looked really good. Like honestly, that shit made me really happy. As someone who's a big fan of him, watching him on Cloud9, like he looked really good. Like I feel like he looked better already than he did on Cloud9, and maybe not so much in the beginning, and at times he looked really good in Cloud9. But the thing that I just loved about what he was doing was the aggression, right? Like I really believe if you want to be the best in your position, you've got to be able to make plays too. And you actually saw this from DRX ADC, lazy, whatever, lazy, the lazy guy. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he made some really good plays actually as well, which was surprising because I know they're missing Teddy, but he actually looked pretty decent. But Berserker was making plays on pretty much every ADC. The one thing that did worry me a little bit about this DNS team is that, I'm sorry, DNF team. What am I saying? They just, the fact they lost game two, like they shouldn't have lost game two legitimately. Pioshik, he looked okay on the Nocturne, but to be honest, he made some bad plays that really cost him the game. Like the one where he just ulted in and just completely missed. Like he did not combo with Life at all. Like Life engaged, 2-man stuns, and then he goes in, and obviously they whip the combo. But if they don't even need to go for the combo. If they just go for the two guys CC it, I'm pretty sure they just hard win that fight. And then later on, he just was not able to be impactful on the Nocturne. And it's partially Nocturne, but he didn't have a great game on it. I do think overall that team looked pretty good, though. They should probably have 2-0'd, and it was a pretty convincing series from them, even though it was 2-1, I think. And they were playing, obviously, not a bad team. You know, obviously, they playing against Lehens and King, who are two great players who looked good at times, but also not so great. And that game 3 draft, I don't think helped them. Not because it's not winnable, but just because it's so hard to win. Like you're just putting your team in a hole with that. Like I understand you've got that range advantage, but man, you make one mistake, then it's pretty much over. When Jiwoo shifted in, which I don't know what the hell he was doing, but when he shifted in, like that pretty much sealed the deal for that game. Like it's like, okay, well now we're playing full range. We can't really contest space because we don't have really any DPS comparatively, and now we're just screwed. But overall, I thought the Freaks were really good. I thought that Berserker looked really, really good on the Ashe, the Kalista, Kaisa, pretty much every single pick. The fact that he was making plays, like even the plays in game 1 where he just goes in on Kaisa. He just says, no, you know what, we need to fight, and I'm gonna start the fight. Like that's what you need sometimes. You just take over the game. I'm gonna put the game in my hands. And he wasn't doing that as much in North America, especially towards the end. And that was honestly one of the criticisms I have Cloud9 at the end, where like nobody was making plays. Everybody was terrified except for JoJo, and that's why you had like JoJo trying to make plays as LeBlanc versus Maokai and getting caught and dying. But it's really great to see him doing that again, because that's what the best players are. That's what that's why the great ADCs do. And you've got to be able to find your moments to make plays. He was doing it on Kaisa. He was doing it on Ashe as well. And, there was a lot of times where they try to catch him, and he just played mechanically really well and got out of the situation. I do think the game where he gets caught on the side, as Kai said, they did end up losing that game. But I do think if when he gets caught by Rakan on the side there, they would actually just lose the game if it had been played a little bit better. But there was really no follow-up besides the Rakan. And so he's able to get out of there. They weren't really quite close enough. But in general, man, he just played really, really well. The team played pretty well. Bulldog looked pretty good, I thought as well. He played, although that was a little rough, but overall I thought he played really well. And Life, man, Life looks super super good. Like that bot lane of Life Berserker just looked really 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 good. Now obviously they're not playing against um, the toughest of opponents, but they're not playing against obviously they're playing against Lahens, who's great, although he's playing Blitzcrank and Braum, so there's not a ton you can do in that matchup in one of those games. It's it's really really cool to see them playing that well. And I think there's a chance they can really contest some of the upper echelon teams in the bot lane. Because I mean, like Berserker, he's not a stranger to playing these guys. Obviously, he's played these guys at Worlds, he's played these guys at MSI, and he's obviously not had great success with it. But man, he's not scared of these guys. And similarly with Life, Life has obviously been really successful on different teams. And so these two guys, if they really have a connection, which it really looks like they do, and Berserker's playing this well, like I really think they can contest the other top bot lanes in the league, which is really 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 cool to see. Um, and man, the aggression was just so good. Um, you know, honestly, on the other side, NS just didn't look Noxian didn't look that great. They had some good macro decisions. Like I said, that play where they baited with Otacon and then they just mistimed the CT chain on a Berserker that should have worked. And I like the idea of that play, but they didn't look like their carries were really strong enough. I mean, Fisher was okay. Didn't really look like he was doing anything special to carry the game. Jiwoo, I mean, again he was okay, but you really the shift was game losing, so he also had a game losing play, and as Kingen looked good, Kingen looked really good, but it's not really a top lane carry season. It's probably going to be just tanks, tanks, tanks. They are nerfing some of the items, but man, the tank items are so strong that it's like you're not even you're carrying. You can carry sort of in a way from the top lane, but you're not carrying in the same way you can in seasons where it's Camille and Jax and Fiora and these type of champions in the top lane. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do what he did. It looked like their best player, to be honest, today. Um, but it's they looked a little rough. Gideon looked okay, um, but I did feel like in game two when he was outplaying um, Pioshik, it was more Pioshik was kind of trolling, so which he does sometimes. So I'm not like doesn't make me worried about him, but he, you know, man, if that team does want to contest with the top teams, he's going to need to be on his A game because he's one of their best players when he is on their A game. You know, he gets a lot of flack for that DRX final where obviously Guma stole Baron with Smite, but man, he was playing amazing in that final. Like he was the second best player in that final after Kingen. So it's like his peak is still really high, and if the bot lane's playing well and Bulldog looked pretty good, Dudu looked good at times too. He had some really good engages on the Jax especially. The Aurora was pretty good too, even though they lost that game. I think this team could really contend, and if he's got a really, but because his teammates are not superstars the way they've been in the past, um, he's going to need to make sure that he is on top of his game if they're going to win. But I think this non this DNF team can really really compete, um, and they look good. And it wouldn't surprise me if they get fifth or sixth or maybe even fourth. We're gonna have to see. I'm really excited for that matchup next week versus DK. It's gonna be really interesting to see if they can win that one. Because that's going to really, if they just look competitive in that one and it's close, that will really give me hope that they can really compete. Um, the other two teams, bro, man, bro looked. There was some good things, but overall, the fact that they lost game three is just like it's another bad season, isn't it? Uh, man, they look lost. They look like if things aren't going perfectly, they're going to fall apart. They look like game two, it was really hard to take space from their draft. But game three, it's like you have that lead. You're supposed to win this game. You guys look like you're the better players, but you don't know what to do to win the game. And that's a rough spot to be in the LCK. So I really do worry about Bro, and it's looking like another rough season. Similarly, DRX, doesn't look good either. The fact that you guys just looked like you were outclassed player for player versus Bro, who was not a good team. It's looking like a bottom finish for you guys too. Maybe when Teddy comes back, that changes, but I don't think it's even really going to matter that much. Maybe you can take a game off. Maybe you take a series off Nongshim. I don't know. It looks bad though. It looks bad for both those two teams. I don't know if Bro's going to finish 10th again, but they really could after this first week. But if they can get it together somehow, then maybe they can do something and turn it around. Because the players look decently talented, so they're playing. They were definitely outplaying Nongshim. Kind of lane for lane, but just no idea really what to do. No plan when you don't have easy ways to start fights and take space. Just means and getting caught in these bad spots. Morgan had a couple of good plays, but then he also got caught in a really bad spot later, and it's just like, you can't, even if he had a great Cassante game, I don't know, doesn't look good. But we'll see. I'm pretty excited for the season. I'm really excited for Berserker. I don't know why in the interview they didn't even mention NA at all. I don't know, like, no question about, hey, how did it feel to play here versus NA? That was pretty weird, but whatever. Um, Overall, I'm actually, from watching this series, I'm pretty excited for this DNF team, and the fact that Berserker said they're only at like 60 to 70% of where they're going to be just makes me think that you know they could do something. They could do something. They could threaten some of these top teams, but we'll have to see. Um, Let me know what you thought of the opening LCK matches, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.